Well, hello R10. So it looks like we're going into another version. So this is PIXLR. It's a web version. It's sort of like a stripped down version of Photoshop. Does some basic editing, and for this assignment, it's perfectly fine to use this. So I'm going to start by rather than doing the playful PIXLR, click on the advanced one. I believe they have some apps, but if you use the web version, this will work for our project. So you're still going to need to get an image, right? So I got to open an image. And I got to put that in. I got to go through here, hunt and find it. I pretty much already know which one I'm going to use. So it's this one. Oh, wait. No, it's not that one. It's this one, slightly different. Okay. So it opens up my image. Your paper is 9 by 12, right? So we need to go ahead and make this a 9 by 12 ratio. So I could do this. I could say, hey, it should be 9 by 12. And it should keep that ratio. Oh, it's not doing it. It's doing it by pixels. So I'm gonna have to click on ratio here, right? And we want the width to be 9. We want, oh, hello, not 91. 9, and the other one to be 12. That looks like it's already the 9 by 12 ratio. So that tells me that my phone is pretty much a 3:4 ratio. That's what 9 by 12 comes down to. And you want to move this around. So I'm not going to try to include too much because this is a very abstracted project, meaning that you're kind of really abstracting the image quite a bit. So you might zoom it in to maybe a portion of the face. For this one, I'm going to maybe include the hair and probably stop it around the chin. And I might move the position just a little bit. All right, so we'll stop right there. That looks like a good size. I'm going to go ahead and click on apply. Good to go. Now the next part is we got to convert this to. I'm going to increase this. As you can tell, I've used this a lot, right? So this is maybe my second or third time using it at the very most ever. So I have my color image. I need to go ahead and get rid of the color info. So it's definitely not under here. So let's check adjustment. Oh, good. So we got a few options here. I'm going to go ahead and desaturate it. That sounds like the simplest thing to do. It converts it. And you notice that I have levels of gray in here. There's very little white. There's like a highlight here on the bottom of my lens. But that might be, if you have an image that is really bright, I'm going to show an example of that, where it's blown out like this, that's going to be really hard to translate this for your project because you need to have levels of gray. So if you find another photo or take a new photo, those are my recommendations. So I might, modify this a little bit. I might lighten it a little bit. Let's see if they have a levels option here. Levels is kind of like a nice in between. So this is your black levels. This is your midtones or your middle gray, and then this is your highlights. So I might start with the highlights and see how I have a spike here that tells me that somewhere in here there's a little spike of pure white. I think we can go up to about right there before it blows out my head. Do you see that section right there? So right about there is probably where I'd stop. I might increase the black a little bit, but not so much that I'm not seeing the eyes. So I'm looking at the eyes there. See how that starts to become one larger shape? So I might find somewhere in between and a little bit on the midtones. Okay, good to go. The next thing that we have as an option, we're going to check their filters because I'm not totally sure what they have here. They have pixelate. Ooh, that would be kind of fun, but don't do that one. That might be good for another project. Details. Bummer. This one does not look like it has a cutout option. I'm just going to see what this fringe does. Oh wow, that's cool, but definitely not what we're doing. Okay. Bummer. I think we're going to be stuck with just the posterize option. I was hoping that they might have a cutout one, but I'm not seeing it. Let's see what pixelate does. Right, that should turn things into pixels. But yeah, that's going to get too complex, and it's not quite the assignment we're doing. That's how I used to do this assignment. So I think we're going to be stuck with, well, let's see how mosaic looks. Mosaic could work, but it's too triangular. Bummer, that won't work either. So I think we're just stuck with posterize. So there's an option right here under posterize, and you'll notice one color means there's black only, right? Two means that there should be, well, in this particular software, in Photoshop it's a little bit different. In this particular software, it's how many levels of gray you have, right? So this one, there's only black or white for one. That's like a bitmap. This one is two, so you got a black and then you have a dark gray and then white. So 3 should then be, you know, dot, dot, dot. And then we want to get to 4, and we're going to count real quick. I got one black in here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you might decisively make some of the forehead turn into number 4, right? Ideally, we don't have any white in here. So I'm just going to see what 5, see how 5 is kind of more of that forehead. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 5 levels of gray. So that won't work. So I think for if you're going to use PIXLR for this project, you want to do 4. That gives you a black, dark gray. That's number 2. Middle gray. That's 3, and light gray. That's 4. Otherwise, what you would have to do if you do number 3 is you would convert number 1, this one, into your light gray. This would be your middle gray 1, 2. Yeah. Yeah, this could work. You could do number 3 or 4. If you do number 3, white becomes a light gray. If you do number 4, you have to mentally shift the white part here into a light gray. Yeah, so you're gonna have to fudge it a little bit. I think 3 is the simplest because it is clear. Convert that white into a light gray, and you are pretty much done. So I would do this, I would save this, this is your map, and then you use this for translating all those cut pieces of paper. This is, you know, like I was saying in the other video, this one is just a map and a reference point. It doesn't need to be anything else than that. So if you're previewing this on your phone, on a tablet, or on a laptop, you know, having a larger screen is a little bit easier to work with. If you have a printer, go ahead and print it out, and then that way you have a physical reference to work with. But it's really just a map. I mean, it can be abstracted from this. It doesn't have to be perfectly, you know, exact. So go ahead and take a look at this. I would save this, right? I would probably go to File, and on this one, when you save, it's going to save it to the desktop. I would do a PNG. It's a little bit larger, and it looks like it gives you options to shift the width and height. I'm going to see what happens if I make this 1,000. Does it automatically shift it? No, it doesn't. That's a bummer. All right, so you're kind of stuck with what you got. So you have to, you know, you do have to alter your image at the very, very beginning. Just for, you know, just to take a look, I'm going to go into image size and see what it is here. And constrain proportions, we want that on. Let's say if we make it 1,000. I totally know how to type. Yeah, so that'll be, yeah, 1,000 by 1.33. Let's see if it was 3,000. 3:4 ratio. Yep. That would be a pretty big image. I think that's probably more than, at the most, I would make it 2,000 wide. Apply. It's going to be a bit bigger. You know, and then you can save that. And that would be pretty much it. That's your map. You'll have to simplify this. So don't worry about these little tiny specks, right? Like all these things that are illustrating the wrinkles in Eric's forehead. Those aren't important. You're going to convert that into just like one clean line. Don't worry about all the little tiny pixels. Don't try to match that. I think that's overly detailed. It's okay that it's abstract. And if you're not sure, look at the visual that I gave on the Photoshop one. So scrub toward the end of that video. There's a little visual there that talks about, you know, the abstracted version. So that should help for give you an idea of visualizing this. It's not super perfect. This is just a map and just a reference point. I hope that helps.